So this is pretty interesting. Um, I guess, well, no one's ever known this before, but God is ready to reveal a really cool secret of the universe, and that is kind of, well, it's about souls. So, billions of years ago, once he had separated enough light from darkness, he somehow, he calls it, he shattered parts of himself, because everything was himself. But he shattered parts of himself into billions upon billions of little pieces. And those little pieces are like little flames. And those are the flames of human souls. Now, he didn't get to these souls, whether they had a lot of light or a little bit of light, they just happened naturally. He didn't get to manipulate them. Like, what your soul was at that point in time is just the roll of the dice, essentially. So he had all these souls, and he would watch them, and he didn't really have anything to do with them yet. So he would watch them, and he would kind of dream and have fantasies about what this soul would look like if it was a human, if it had a body. So he's up there with all these souls, and this is literally trillions of years ago. And he's watching them, observing them. There's all different kinds. Some are attracted to groups, some are wanting to be off on their own and kind of wait for God to visit. Some want nothing to do with the light, and they run away from the light. Some are very attracted to the light. And then Jesus was the biggest, brightest light of this area, and he was God. He was there from the beginning, but he was also, at this point in time, a soul without a body. So there is some other story going on consecutively in a kind of somewhat parallel universe. And that's a whole nother story that I have not been privy to the details enough to share anything with you. So Jesus was also somewhere else, but let's not get too crazy. Just for the sake of simplicity, we have all these billions of souls, and God is watching them. And he has a photographic memory. He doesn't forget anything. He knows everything. So he got to know these souls intimately. And if they were from him and had a lot of light, then, well, Jesus many were attracted to Jesus, and he became their shepherd. And then other groups were attracted to other larger entities, and then some were attracted to the darkness. And so while the physical universe was slowly forming over trillions of years, he was also observing these souls. And then he started writing stories for each of them. And it's not really complex, but I'll make another video about that. But anyway, he specifically chooses your soul for your story, your parents, your part of the world. Like, everything about you, he chose. And don't get confused, because He often gives horrible earthly lives, they appear to be horrible, to souls that absolutely delighted him. It's very complicated how he parcels out the stories and everything like that, but everything is for our benefit, for our salvation, because if he didn't save these souls, they were going to be lost. It's important to note that a soul cannot do anything without a body. So we have to be born. We have to be conceived. We have to be conceived. Once we're conceived and that soul is officially assigned to a body with a genetic code, that's his number one goal. So while people here on earth might see miscarriage or a young child dying as an absolute horrible tragedy, the truth is God needed to get that soul into a person. And once that's accomplished, he knows he can make things work from there. Unfortunately, abortion causes him a lot of trouble in this regard because the soul wants to be born and needs to be born, but it's conceived, but something happens if you're not actually given birth to as well. If you are if your soul does not have a body because you were never born, there are things that you will not be able to fully experience. I have attempted to make up for it in other ways, but I assure you, ridding your body of what God has put there is an eternal mark on that human's path. He's saying this is a hard truth to handle, but that he does have things he's going to be able to do. Righteously, I tell you, when a baby is aborted, the angels weep. He does want everybody to know that abortion is forgiven. It is forgiven. And you are loved. And many of you really struggled with your decision. So anyway, this fun topic turned serious. I know it's just way more tragic than anyone could have ever guessed. Like, it's a miracle, an absolute miracle, that he figured out how to take these souls, give them a consciousness and a human body so that they could reach salvation and enjoy eternity. All right, so let me see. I think that, like, he lets me see souls of people. Like, I can think of someone and then I can see their soul in kind of my mind's eye. And they're all so different. Some of them he had these huge hopes for, but unfortunately the darkness, the dark spots inside them won. It always breaks his heart. And some he didn't have particularly high hopes, and they've just become some very, very, very beloved humans. The last thing I want to say is that righteously I tell you, if you have had an abortion, you are forgiven, and I have even been known to make sure that an abortion occurred. Some abortions were written. There are spiritual reasons why that baby was better off not born. This is not common. But if you are watching this, you do not know if you were one of these people. And I forgive everyone equally. So it does not matter if you were one of these people. What matters is that you are forgiven and we will move forward. We never know what was written. Some of the things we think God would hate us for, he's actually the one who made sure they happened because they took the story in the direction that our life had to go. He's saying that what he had to do was no small task. So anyway, right before the end comes and the second coming of Jesus Christ comes, the number of souls that were allocated to this earth will all be given bodies unless they lose their life. So that, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. All right. Everybody have a blessed day. Amen.